Hello and welcome to part 3 of our Look Finance SEQFC Preview Show with thanks to Vilic Law. I'm Darren Lutton, and this afternoon I've got Mark Madge with me. Mark, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Darren. How are you?
Crazy week getting all these shows together.
Yep,
save the best for last, as we always do with the Gold Coast wrap.
That's it. I knew you would save us for last. That's always good, though.
All right, so just looking at results on the weekend, Palm Beach 3, Burleigh Heads 2. Burleigh Heads are gone, right? They're gone. They can't win the league from here.
Look, winning the league might be a stretch. I think, obviously Philo is one of our best coaches to interview. For those who may have seen his post-match interview, he pretty much said, look, not that the league's out of sight, but top 4 is his aim now. They've been unlucky. Like I said last week, I know the table, as I say, table never lies. This year on the Gold Coast, the table is one thing, but anyone can win on any day. And Burleigh, although the results haven't gone their way, they've been there or thereabouts. 1 goal in it for majority of their losses. No one has gone to Burleigh and really dominated them for a full 90 minutes and to get all their points. So they're a side that, if a lapse in concentration at any point from anyone overall in that league, but especially Burleigh, they will punish you. Winning the league, I think, will be a bit of a stretch this year. A bit of chop and changing. Philo's just trying to find his right starting 11 to get him through the back end of this season and hopefully into the finals for them. So I think they'll have some points to catch up. I think top 4 will be a great achievement from them this year, considering all that's happened there in the off-season and the start of this season. But let's not forget Palm Beach. Again, a great team, well coached, fantastic players, getting the job done. It's not easy to get 3 points at Burleigh at all. Whenever, it doesn't matter what position they're in, what league they're in. They're always hard to play at Pizzey Park, and Palmy came away with that one. It shows you just in going back to last year. I know Burleigh obviously won the double, but that Palm Beach side last year didn't really play that well at Pizzey Park. Really struggled there compared to when they play at Palm Beach. But this year they showed that their maturity and that growth that we've been waiting for, it's finally shown, and they got all 3 points at the end of the day.
And we have a new leader on the top of the table again.
Surprise, surprise. Nothing surprises us on the Gold Coast this year. Coomera obviously leading the way now. Although they won 1-0, and people may say, it was a 93rd minute winner. There was a dubious foul, no foul call that everyone's been talking about. Really, was it a foul? Wasn't it a foul? And this is what I'm saying with the league table. Broadbeach haven't won a game this year. They haven't got a point. But in the last 2 games, they've been done in the last kick of the game twice. Those 2 results, as you can imagine, change a whole outcome of a table. It can change a whole outcome of a season. What Andy Robinson has had to do at Broadbeach, considering the player exodus and the rebuild and all the rest of it, and what he's achieving with that squad, everyone will tell you it's amazing. He's a fantastic coach. He's shown, his full potential as a coach. And, a lot of people discredit Broadbeach this year and all the rest of it. Sometimes it's easier, or not sometimes, majority of the time it's easier at our level to coach at the top. When you have the best player or the best striker in the league, it's easy to coach. They're going to bag a goal or 2 every week, and you'll be in every game if you can score goals. When you don't have an out-and-out star, amateur star, if you want to call them that, or a top player, an MVP candidate, that's when you really start coaching. What they show week in, week out, and the desire that I've seen, I've watched them quite a bit this year. Broadbeach, one of our favourite places to go film and cover football, as you can imagine. So we've seen them play 3 or 4 times this year. And I've seen consistently a squad fighting for one another, squad getting better, squad shape. As stupid as it sounds, I think they have one of the best defensive shape in the league. It sounds crazy, I know, but just the style of play, they're just, one day it's going to click. It'll be sooner rather than later, I believe, and they're going to put someone to the sword, and they're going to surprise everyone. They won't be surprising me though. But look, Coomera got the job done. Professional performance. They're the 3 points that Steve McDonald has been harping on about for the last 3 years. When we need to get points, we have to go get points. And they backed up. That same fixture last year was our semi-final, playing into the prelim, which Coomera won. They beat Broadbeach in the Lee Vernon's Broadbeach, who, when finals come around, they are a lock. But Steve got the job done there last year and got the job done again here to go to the top of the table.
All right, so let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures. Surfers Paradise, they dropped points last weekend and they're taking on Burleigh.
This fixture is an interesting one. So obviously Surfers have been, crowned as favourites for the league title. Their squad is deep. They've got a lot of good players. They're going to Burleigh, a team they played in the grand final last year, obviously. It's a grand final rematch. They're going to Pizzey Park. It's not easy, as I said, to win there. You'd expect, if you look at the league tables, Burleigh's having an off year. This should be a Surfers 3 points. I think it'll be very tough. I think when there's games that need to be won, and there was a time last year, it's the same fixture, but obviously the reverse ground. When Surfers played Burleigh, there was 2 points in the league table. 3 points in the league table. Burleigh were leading. Surfers win that game. Sorry, rephrase. There was 5 points. So Burleigh were up by 5 points. You'd think a comfortable buffer, but their run-in was tough. They had a lot of tough away games and all the rest of it. Surfers at home, they could cut that point deficit down to 2, and then it would be a title race going into that 4-5 last rounds. Surfers were winning, winning 1-0, winning 2-1, had chances and all over them. Burleigh still found a way to win. That basically secured their league title. If I'll tell you honestly, if I think Burleigh get 3 points this week, they're going to be in the top 4. That's my thing. Is it's going to take 1 week for them to click. And I think with the quality they have, they still have Matt Hilton, who's one of the best goal scorers the Gold Coast has ever seen. They have Matt Noble, Marcus Allison, all these players that are out and out, make our all-star teams and all the rest of it. They're there for a reason. They're good players for a reason. They're one of the Gold Coast best for a reason. And there's no better time to get 3 points than this week. Surfers, I know Alex, after the 1-1 draw against Southport, he'll be eager to get 3 points. Anything less than that will put them into a real dogfight for that league title, especially if Coomera get a positive result on the weekend. That will then put, that bit of a buffer between them and Surfers playing next week as well, coming up against Coomera. So then you'd say that's a must win for Surfers if they're going to have a league title chance and all the rest of it. So, yeah, it should be an interesting matchup. We're going to be down there covering that one. Pizzey Park's one of the best fields to go on the Gold Coast. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see what both teams have to offer. Both looking for 2 different things, but both with enough quality to get 3 points.
Okay. Looking at the other fixtures, Southport playing Broadbeach United, Palm Beach are taking on Nerang, and Coomera have got Robina. Which out of those games is the most intriguing for you?
Obviously, Palm Beach and Nerang would be the one that stands out in mind. Obviously, Nerang, they're in a bit of a tough spot at the moment with injury suspensions. They'll get a few players back from suspension. Hopefully the injury toll, I think they have a few longer injuries than expected. So there's a couple of players still missing for them. Palm Beach, playing at Palm Beach at 6 o'clock on a Saturday, it's a different animal. Those boys, when they go out there in Palm Beach, they have great home support. A lot of kids come down with their parents. They've got a vocal crowd there on the hill. It's a great place to go for an evening match. And I think that Palm Beach will fancy themselves in that one quite heavily. The way they played against Burleigh last week showed why they're legit. They're not here to muck around. They're here to get that title. So I think under lights at Palm Beach, they'll go in as favourites for that game. Rightfully so. Lee Vernon will probably be the first person to tell you that he's undermanned at the moment and just still trying to get into that swing of things. So, it'll be a tough match again. Like every game's a tough match. So, I don't have to keep repeating myself in that tough match, because they were all tough matches. The Southport Broadbeach fixture, keep an eye on. One way or another, we're going to be in for a surprise. So Southport get a win here. There will be these are what Southport have done with a group of mates who've literally come directly from First Division. No major players, no additional. Plus, they're, name that might be familiar to a lot of viewers and a lot of people in Brisbane as well. Morgan Saunders played NPL, played for Gold Coast Knights in their Premier League teams and all the rest of it. Can score goals. He's not even playing yet. He had a triple hernia surgery operation, still out for another 5 weeks. So they're arguing their best player isn't even playing yet. They've already racked up 8 points. Get another 3 today. over the weekend. We're in a different conversation here for the Warriors. Broadbeach get 3 points, then it becomes more interesting. As I said, I think they're one win away from getting a bit of momentum. So we're going to start getting into crunch time. And getting points anywhere in this league is like gold. But that's another fixture there to keep an eye on. Coomera Rabina, the Sunday fixture is always hard for everyone. I don't know what it is about Sundays. Sundays is always tough. Coomera, obviously, they'll be happy to get 3 points against Broadbeach, but they're coming up against Rabina's side, who, again, a new signing during the week, Lockie Roos, an NPL name that might come into mind for a lot of people in the Gold Coast City days. He's joining Rabina. He will be, I think he might be in action this weekend. Given their win against Nerang and a bit of clean sheet in the Gold Coast is like, I think you should get an extra point for keeping a clean sheet on the Gold Coast. That's how rare they are. We saw 2 last week, but it is rare. So, a bit of defensive confidence there. They'll fancy themselves against Coomera. But again, Coomera will probably go into as favourites. They're leading the league for a reason. So interesting matchups all around the Gold Coast. Everyone's got something to play for. This year's a bit more different. As I said, the 8th place will have to play off with 3rd in Coast League. So it's not an automatic relegation. It will be interesting because the Coast League that's a competition that's heating up, and that's where the pressure situations is. I'm sure that's probably next on our agenda. So I'll let you introduce that one. I thought I won't jump the gun too quick.
Yes, I was just going to say Kingscliff retained their place on top of the table with a 3-2 win over Pacific Pines on the weekend.
That one was actually the week before. So that was a catch-up game. Yeah, Kingscliff 3-2 was a week before. Kingscliff played Musgrave last week and a 0-0 draw. Big win. Big result there. Both sides would have won 3 points. It's still early again in Coast League, but it's just more the mental side of things. To know Kingscliff more than Musgrave, I guess, to have that little bit of a buffer as they lead. They're still leading the league. Now with Tweed's win, though, they beat Runaway Bay. That thickens the pot really, really close. The 3 games this weekend coming up as well, all those 3 teams who are in contention for those 2 automatic spots in the 3rd playoff spot, they all are expected to win the games they're playing. You know what happens when you expect to win games. The toughest one for me is the Kingscliff Bond fixture. Bond were at the start of the year, yes, no, we're in, we're not, we're in, we're not. Upon the restart, obviously they have a bit more harsher restrictions when it comes to COVID at the university and all the rest of it, guidelines they had to follow. They ended up coming in late, like literally a week, the week of, decided to come in one place. So they're on 6 points. Another good result for them. Again, they throw themselves in the mix. Everyone can just keep throwing themselves in the mix. And that's what we love about football. That's what we love about, especially in the Gold Coast this year. We have 2 competitions that are really equal and really interesting each and every week. But again, look, Kingscliff will fancy themselves to get 3 points. Musgrave, Mudgeeraba are going through a transition period where they're promoting youth, club-grown youth into their system. They've made it abundantly clear that their goal isn't now. Their goal is in 2-3 years' time to develop a strong club structure. So you think Musgrave would get 3 points there. And again, Pac Pines isn't a place that I'd like to go to try to get 3 points on a Saturday afternoon. I think it'll be much closer than people think. Tweed again will be the favourites, but you just never know, and that's the best part of our game.
Good stuff. Well, Mark, the passion from you for these leagues just absolutely drips out of the camera. So thank you again.
Never a problem.
It's been great having you on board, and look forward to another chat next week.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate it. And keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic to see and listen to everyone giving their insights. So I appreciate it.
Good on you, Mark.
Thank you.